Welcome everybody to our latest campaign. This is going to be the Scarlet Citadel by Kobold Press, and we are actually setting this campaign in the world of Cerelia as opposed to Midgard, mainly because I'm much more familiar with Cerelia. So for those of you that are not familiar, Cerelia is a campaign world from back in 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Very cool world that's got a lot of great artwork associated with it, and there's a lot of, it's kind of a combination of a Highlander aspect of there can be only one, as these individuals throughout the world have what's known as bloodlines, which give them blood abilities, and it is very much focused on rulers and territories and all that fun stuff, but of course a lot of adventures happen in this world as well, and that is what our group is going to be focused on as they're heading to the Scarlet Citadel. So this is a quick overview of our world, and for reference, we can see where our player characters are going to be starting in the domain of Rosone. So this is over on the western side of the world in an area known as Cerelia. This is sort of the ruins of an old empire, and many of these different countries, as you can see with these lines, all struggle for success, survival, try to advance. Very interesting and chaotic place to set adventures in, of course. In the land of Rosone, which again you can see is defined by this border here, we have the actual country of Rosone itself and a map that gives us a little bit more highlighted detail. So when we jump into the map of Rosone, we can see this one, of course, has got a lot more detail in it. It's more focused and it's more scaled, and we see a lot of, again, more detail here. So our actual campaign is going to be set in the village of Red Tower, which is in the province of Dwerlin. And you can see on the right hand side we've got our quick roster of characters there, and we will get to know them a bit here in just a moment. So first things first, I'm going to take us back to our player lobby, and we're going to do quick introductions of our player cast, and they're going to say whatever they like about themselves as well as the characters they're choosing to play. So for starters, Dylan, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody at the table and everybody who will potentially listen. My name is Dylan. This will be my 3rd campaign, technically like 3.5 campaigns with Adam now. Truly excited to play this one. This is a new world for me, so I don't have much knowledge about it from just what I read about getting familiar with my character. I'll be playing Elliot Bootrickle. I've got a short little thing here. Elliot, standing just 3'3", Elliot presents himself as somebody much taller. He always seems to eye everything a second or a third time. The black leather hat he wears looks well taken care of, but its age still shows. He plucks a piece of idle hay from the cord, wrapped around its base, and slides it between his teeth. You can often see him chewing something like this. He wears an all-black uniform that's covered in dust and mud, obvious daily use. The semi-faded sigil of the Proudglaive City Watch can be made out in the leather. A scimitar is sheathed to his right side with a buckler shield slung over his back. Against his back is also a small crossbow bolt case, and hanging from the case is his crossbow. Carved into the wood of the handle of the crossbow, you can make out Isabel. That's Elliot.
Excellent. Thank you for that introduction and description of your character there, Dylan. Looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table. We will move next to Libby.
My name is Libby. Also new to this setting. Really looking forward to it. I'll be playing Harmony. Her last name is Willowbeam. And Harmony is pretty tall and thin, blended in well with the elves when she lived with them. And she has tan skin and green eyes, and she's not a huge fan of bathing, so she might have a bit of an odor. She's a lover, not a fighter.
Excellent. Thank you for that introduction, Libby, and for the overview of your character. Great artwork on the character, by the way. Looking forward to seeing her in play as well as we move to Matt.
Hey y'all, I'm Matt. I'm playing Corin. He is a half-elf from the east. I had it written down. Zakala, I think, is his location that he is from. He's recently started having strange dreams revolving around individuals that he's never met before, and it has compelled him to leave his homeland and travel to where his dreams are telling him to go. He's fairly. I don't know if this is actually a typical elf size, but he's 5'10", dressed in fairly simple clothing. At a glance, you would kind of get the impression that it's fairly loose fitting and probably meant for hotter climates. And I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to mention about Corin, but that's probably it for now.
Excellent. Appreciate the introduction of yourself and your character. For those listening, Zakala is about 400 miles east of where our campaign currently takes place. So this character, Corin, has come quite far. And in fact, yes, elves in this world do tend to be a bit taller than your standard PHB elves, so that height certainly makes sense. All right, and we move next to Noah.
Hello, I'm Noah. First campaign here. Excited for it. I'm excited for all the bloodline stuff. But I'm playing Hugo. Hugo is a human. He's a Canassi human. So he's from a different part of this area. He's haggard looking for his age. He's only about mid-20s or so. But he sort of has like a beaten down look to him. He's got green eyes, which contrasts with his sort of his skin, which is more on the tan side. And he is carrying a rapier sheathed on his side, and just has like some battered scale armor on, and about average height, 5'8", and fairly skinny, but it does look as though he's not wealthy, and he all his stuff has like a serious wear and tear to it. And he's a fighter.
Excellent. Thank you for that introduction, Noah, and for the overview of your character. And yes, the Canassi come from the east, similar to Zakala, where that is also one of the Canassi kingdoms. So the Canassi folk are known as, or the area you could think of it as, is known as Cities of the Sun. So yes, another far traveler over here to this area to investigate the Scarlet Citadel. Excellent. And yes, welcome to your first campaign of mine here, Noah, and I'll do my best not to kill you in the first battle, I promise. All right.
You all heard that.
Last but certainly not least, we move to Volt.
Hello, I am Volt. This is also my first campaign in this setting. We held that for you until the last, just so you could maybe hope, but no, none of us know this very well. In this campaign, I'm playing Grask, the lizard folk barbarian. Quick introduction to Grask. He stands a staggering 6'5", covered with green scales and a mostly folded dorsal fin. Around his waist, he wears ragged leather that looks like it offers little defense, or style for that matter. His muscles claim strength and his scars confirm it. This is the body of a man who has fought and won to tell the tale. He carries a great axe as his weapon. Grask was sentenced to exile from his home for 10 years, and he's 7 years into that sentence. And his home is Marcusor.
Excellent. Thank you for that introduction, Volt. And yes, looking forward to learning more about Grask, the lizard folk. Lizard folk in this world tend to be a bit more rare, as they're not as widely accepted in the land, tending to stick with themselves in their swamp areas or the areas that they can find safety in. But luckily for Grask, Scarlet Citadel, in particular the town around it, Red Tower, is actually very welcoming to adventurers because it is known as an adventuring hotspot. So here in Red Tower, in the very nearby surrounding areas, he will find quite a bit of acceptance, but should his travels take him a ways out, we might see a bit more of that traditional anger or fear, perhaps, of the lizard folk race. So thank you for that introduction, and welcome to all of our players and characters, and we are going to get right into it, folks. So it's been a long day as you guys have spent time here in Red Tower finding yourselves in the local inn known as the Cage Inn and Tavern. This is a very hopping location as there's many people inside of this tavern at the moment. It is later in the day. You can think of it as being approximately 8 p.m. Each of your characters has spoken with one another. I know some of you guys have come up with shared backstories. Some of you may have even traveled here together. But the long and short of it is you find yourselves here all together sitting around a bar table with plans, having discussed this location of the Scarlet Citadel of why exactly you have all come here and planning to make your trek there in the morning. You've sort of gathered around a table here to discuss any potential plans that you would like to come up with or anything else you'd like to do before setting foot or traveling to the Scarlet Citadel, knowing it to be very dangerous based on its history and its reputation around the land. So as you sit here, you can see that there again is quite a few people standing around. It's a very cheery atmosphere with people clinking drinks together. You can see the barmaids and the barmen walking about, serving drinks and delivering food and taking returns off of people's plates and tables. You can even see that there are some young kids actually that are sort of up on the second level and they kind of poking their head through those slats of the wooden pieces of the banisters and peeking down before quickly somebody comes, likely a parent or guardian, comes to grab them and get them away from the bawdiness of downstairs. And you can see that again, very happy atmosphere. And as you're all sort of sitting there and just chatting about this potential exploit, you notice the waitress comes back over in your direction here and she looks down and says, anything else? We're real busy. I'm sorry, I haven't gotten back around. Well, did you need more drinks?
Well, I think I'll take another ale. Corn?
Corin just shakes his head and kind of puts his hand over his cup to signal no thank you.
Yeah, I'll take one too.
2 ales? And anything else?
Nah, man, I'm good, thanks.
And you see she gives you a smile and a nod and a little curtsy as she kind of glances towards Grass for a moment and then seems to notice him for the first time. Oh, anything for you, sir?
What do you have that's not fancy?
To drink or food?
Food.
Well, the chef's just cooked up the stewed pork with rye bread. We've also got some roasted boar and dried shallots, if that suits your fancy.
Yes.
Both?
No, meat. Just meat then.
I think he'll take the boar. Probably be best.
Oh, yes, thank you. The stewed pork and rye bread it is. I'll get that and both of the ales. Well, let me know if you need anything else. I'll go get that. And you see she scurries off with her lower skirt here sort of sashaying as she moves her way through this body crowd.
Maybe we should ask her if she knows anything about Citadel.
You probably hear enough through common chatter while they're here.
Can Hugo look around? Are there like other adventurers here that are also trying to go into the Citadel?
All right, first roll of the campaign. I like it. All right, on the right-hand side of the screen there, you'll notice each of your tokens. So Hugo, please go ahead and click on your token and throw me a blind check as you insight around this room, kind of getting a look at everybody and trying to gauge their intentions or maybe their standing, see if anybody looks or represents themselves as an adventurer. Surprisingly, no. As you look about, it seems to be mostly common folk. You see a few people who you would presume to be maybe a bit more hardy or tough than your average folk, but they don't really have the look of adventurers. They don't have the war-weary or worn clothing, for example, or the road sort of stains of dirt, that kind of thing. They all look rather local. You don't get the impression that there's much in the way of the adventurers here at the moment.
I don't see any competition for us.
Why is it always about competition with you, Hugo?
You're not first, you're last in this business.
I forget. Why is it that you're seeking adventure, as they say?
Well, needed a change. Tired of the same old, same old.
I think I can agree. Proud Glaive was getting a little crowded.
Yeah. I won't be going back there anytime soon.
Nor will I. So I think that our past transgressions there should be appeased on both sides. You think so? I think so.
Yes, fresh start.
I don't know. I thought it was a chill town.
Hugo gives like a crooked smile, and you see like most of his teeth are gone.
Thorin will, I guess, push his empty mug aside, and he'll look at the rest of everyone. We'll ask her if she knows anything when she comes back, but is there any other last-minute things that we want to buy or talk about before we go in there tomorrow?
A bit strapped for coin at the moment. That's part of the reason why I want to get in there, but I think I have what I need.
Same here, man. I'm just along for the ride.
I suspect after we make our way in, we'll find coin aplenty for all of us.
Adam, being that I grew up in Proud Glaive, so I'm familiar with just most of this region, or I've heard a lot about it here and there. Do I know anything about the Scarlet Citadel, or have I heard any rumors, maybe?
The general consensus of the Scarlet Citadel is it's a place of mystery and, of course, a place of adventure. There's actually been stories in the past of people, adventurers, coming here, and some have even said to have conquered the Scarlet Citadel, gone all the way through its depths, and searched every last corner of it, and then left. And you would think that that would mean, well, the place is empty now, there's nothing else to be spotted, but it always seems to be a few years later, somebody else decides to come and check it out, and there always seems to be something going on in the Scarlet Citadel. It is really never at rest. It seems as though it's just a beacon for different types of mysteries, and perhaps you could think of it as a never... I mean, not that it's magically never ending, but for whatever reason, it just always attracts different types of individuals, which leads to adventure.
I think as long as we're all equipped and smart, we should be okay.
As you sit at your table here and continue scanning around at the folks in the inn and sort of looking back towards the counter, waiting for this waitress to come back with a couple drinks and the food, you notice a fairly well-dressed man enters the Cage Inn and Tavern here, and he's wearing this sort of floppy-looking hat with a feather sticking out of it. He has this sort of wide mustache that's mostly yellow, but it's kind of a bit patched with white, marking him to be a bit older. And you see as he enters, he kind of does this like stop and stand right at the door, and he takes his thumbs and just kind of puts them in his belt and just does this real big gaze around the entire place. And as his eyes lock onto your group, you see that his face sort of animates as though moving into action. He takes a big step and starts walking right towards you guys, pushing through the different people, very politely sliding to where he can, but his eyes, his gaze never seems to break from your table. As he finally makes his way up to it, you see he looks down and says, "Oh, you must be adventurers, if I'm not mistaken." Come now, don't be shy. Tell me true. Adventurers?
Orange just says, "Can we help you?"
Well, you can think of me as the welcoming committee for Red Tower. You see, I am assistant to Mayor Wislaw himself, and I would like to extend our courtesy and grand welcome to Red Tower. You adventurers are most welcome here in Red Tower, and I wish you the best of luck in your forays into the Scarlet Citadel, for that must be where you're going, right? That's why all adventurers come here. Yes, yes, yes.
Has anybody traveled in there recently that you've welcomed?
Recently? That's a good question, young man. Smart mind on you there for sure. I could tell just by looking at you. This guy's a bit smarter than the rest. Let's see. I think it must have been perhaps 5 or 6 months past since the last group of adventurers came through. But I'm sure there's quite a bit of mysteries and, of course, treasure to be discovered.
Like, what are we talking about? How much?
Oh, valuables beyond your wildest imagination, friend. Think about it. All the people that go in there, unfortunately, Halen bless them, they don't all come back out. So their stuff tends to be right where they dropped it, so to speak. And then there's just all of the things that have been in there for so long. You know, some things have been in there for so long and haven't seen the light of day for decades. I almost wonder, could there be artifacts back from the days of Mount Daysmar? Could you imagine finding a sword from back then? How much would that sell for? Wow, I would have to take something like that to Proudglaive just to get the true value for it.
And the things they leave, we can just have them.
Great question. Oh, see, I am so glad that you guys came prepared. You would be surprised. Sometimes adventurers just rush on in. You guys are asking all of the great questions. I have very good high hopes for you all. So this is how it works. When you enter the Scarlet Citadel, we do assess a small tax, and this tax value is to make sure that we have enough protection here in town. You might have seen we've got a guard force, but it's not substantial. We don't get too much trouble here, but with, of course, the proximity of the Scarlet Citadel, we have to make sure it's always kept under lock and key, you might think of it as. So it's a small tax to head on in, but whatever you find in there is yours to keep.
Well, what's the tax then, sir?
It is 1 gold piece per head, my friend.
Warren isn't good at insight, but can he see if this is on the level or if this guy's fleecing us?
Go ahead and give me a blind insight check, Cora. You get the impression that he is really trying to flatter you, but not necessarily that this gold piece tax is any kind of deception or foul play.
Warren will nod and slip a coin out and slide it across the table.
Why, thank you. And you see he pulls out this ledger, and it's kind of all rolled up at the top, and he pulls down a piece of parchment, takes out this quill from a pack at his side, and starts scribbling in. And you see he writes first before even asking your name, and you kind of look at him perhaps a bit strange, wondering what he could be writing down. But this seems to take him about 30 seconds or so before he looks up and says, "And your name, young man?"
Warren.
Corin, excellent. I will write that in here, Corin. And you see he does so, and you see he looks up with a smile on his face as he looks at the rest of the team.
I'll take a gold piece out and I'll hand it up to him and say, you can refer to me as Eli.
And you see he starts scribbling once again, looks up at you, scribbles once more, looks up at you, scribbles, takes your coin. Eli, excellent, thank you.
Grask reaches down and he brings a pouch to the top of the table, and the pouch is like wet and soaking. You can see some red on it and like probably water. Not sure what else. He reaches in and he pulls out a coin, but there's 2, and he has to peel them apart, and then he hands one over.
And you notice he looks down at it and then takes it sort of distastefully so, and you can see him really quickly rubs his gloved hand on his pants here as he takes his quill back and starts scribbling back in. Looks up at you only once though, scribbles, "And your name, good sir?"
Grask.
Grask, fine name, fine name. You see, he writes it in.
Hey man, I'm kind of low on cash right now. Can I just pay you when we come back out?
Give me a blind persuasion check, Armony. And make sure you have your token selected on the right-hand side there before clicking that blind check. Perfect. Okay. As you ask this question, you see his face, the smile creases into a slight frown. Oh, I am so sorry, my lady, but unfortunately, I am not authorized to allow any free access to the Scarlet Citadel. You know, rules are rules. I have to make sure everybody's treated the same.
Oh man, here's my last gold piece.
Oh, don't worry, my lady. You will make it back so quickly once you enter. Trust me on this. The treasure's outstanding. You see he takes your coin with a smile as he continues scribbling in his journal here. And I believe that just leaves the last of you. Good friend.
So Hugo's been sort of like keeping his face down the entire time this guy's been over here. And without raising his head, he just sort of takes a gold piece out and slides it across the table without looking.
And you notice him leaning as he's like trying to get a better frontal look at your face as he's doing this scribble in his journal. And your name, good sir?
Hugo.
Hugo. Fine name, fine name. Had a brother named that. Good man, good man. Good stock. Well, excellent. This is all taken care of. Welcome once again to Red Tower. As I said, those inquisitive minds of yours will serve you well in the Scarlet Citadel. Also, the mayor has asked me to pass on a special favor to you all. If you choose to shop, patronize some of our local establishments around here, let them know that Mayor Wislaw himself has authorized your purchase for a special discount.
That's awfully kind of him. You know, we didn't get your name, sir.
Oh, my name. Well, you can call me Vernon, for that is I.
So, what, do we just march up the steps and walk on in now that we've paid our dues, or is there a form or waiver or something?
Oh, no form, no waiver. The Scarlet Citadel is located a few miles outside of Red Tower. Are you familiar with the location, or would you like me to describe it to you?
I think a description wouldn't hurt nobody much.
Excellent. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to leave the village of Red Tower here, and probably the quickest way to get there will be to travel to the northwest. You will have to travel through a small path. There's like a pond out there, but avoid that. Travel along the northwest, and it kind of bends around then, turning more towards the northeast and closer to the river. You can't miss it. The Scarlet Citadel, well, of course, it's the color scarlet, and that's where it gets its name. Yes, indeed, it does. And it's hard to miss. It's sort of on a bit of a hill, and you will find the ruins of the top level of the Scarlet Citadel.
Seems easy enough. Traveling the road there. Sounds like anybody who knows that road will know that people will either have pockets full of coin on their way back or going with potential items of great value on their way in. Should we worry about anything specific as we're walking?
Specific? No, but yes, once again, your instincts are very spot on. We do our best to try to patrol the area right around Red Tower, but I am afraid that your intuition is correct, and bandits sometimes have been known to try to lay about the exterior of the Scarlet Citadel and wait for people to come out. They don't bother people necessarily going in because they haven't found anything yet, but on the way out, sometimes they do try to intercede and assess their own tax. Of course, if our men are able to capture them before this, we will deal the justice to them. We will deal the Baroness's justice, in fact. But I'm afraid to say, of course, we can't be everywhere at all places, so being prepared and keeping your eyes open will be of great service to yourselves.
Well, Vernon, I have to say it's been kind of you to check in and fill us in. Does anybody need anything else from him?
Can I motion for the barmaid to come over?
You see her sort of standing back, and she's been casting glances over here. You can tell she's got the drinks on this platter, and it's almost like she's been waiting for him to walk away before she brings the food. But as you motion with your hand, you see she spots you and kind of gives you like a raised eyebrow, and sort of like you get this uncertain look on her face.
Motion again, just to make sure. I'm definitely checking to make sure this Vernon guy is who he says he is.
And you notice she kind of lowers her head a bit as she begins to approach, and you see him smiling at all of you as she does approach, and he turns and sees her approaching and says, "Oh, well, it looks like your food and beverages are here. I shall leave you to it. I would not want to spoil your good fare. Enjoy the rest of the day, and enjoy your Scarlet Citadel adventures. I am holding out hope for you. I am sure you'll be successful with your keen minds." And with this, you see he gives a smile and kind of claps his shoulder here as he turns and begins to exit. You notice the waitress kind of eyes him as he's walking away, and then sets the platter down and says, "Oh, here's the 2 ales and the pork. Here you are, sir," and sets it in front of Grask.
You know who that man was? He just talked to us.
Yes.
What's his name?
Vernon?
Who does he work for?
He's the local tax collector. I guess he works for the mayor?
Alright, checks out.
Will there be anything else you'll be needing, folks?
Grask gives a scan around the room, and then with his hands he picks up the pork and starts eating it. But if anyone looks at him while he's eating it, he's going to glare at them.
You notice she kind of glances for a moment, sees the glare, and turns around and says, "Well, if there's anything else you need, just feel free to let me know." And she scurries away.
Is Grask eating that like a crocodile, just throwing a huge chunk in his mouth and swallowing it, or is he actually chewing his food?
There might be a little bit of contact with the tongue before it gets down.
Okay. I think Corin is he can't help himself as he watches this, and then he kind of sees the glare and diverts his eyes, but he's definitely watching the first couple bites.
Get your own.
What do you all think he was writing in that book of his?
Probably details of our appearance, and somebody's got
What
to
do they
keep
need
log.
all that for?
It makes identifying the bodies easier.
He asked for our names, so he probably wrote that in.
I just don't like people making so much notes of my comings and goings.
Well, give him a fake name then next time, Hugo.
That is my fake name. Dun 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 dun.
Would a fly without wings be considered a walk?
What?
Considered a what?
Sorry,
Little-
what were we talking about?
Never mind.
I gotta say, I'm excited. I heard there was great things to find inside.
Just don't let that get yourself killed.
Can't be killed yet. I've got to find my brother.
Do you think he's inside?
It's the last place that anyone knew of his location. He came here, then there. So maybe, but Vernon said 5 to 6 months ago was the last time somebody checked in. So I imagine if he's in there, he did not pay the tax and he did not meet that man, Vernon.
They may have snuck in when no one was watching. If we hadn't stopped here, I don't think Vernon would have talked to us or seen us.
Adam, you said it's oh, I'm sorry, man. I was gonna get the time of day one more time though.
Yes, it is
Afternoon?
late in the evening. Actually, it was about 8 p.m. when we first started, so it's probably about 8:30 by now.
Well, I can't see in the dark like you elves. So, I think we're spending the night here. Yes?
Get a bright and early start sounds good to me.
You don't mean in the town?
Yeah, of course in the town. Where else?
Isn't it safer out there?
Safer from what, Grask? What are you worried about?
You can't really say that you trust every human in this town.
There's only about 4 people I trust right now, and I'm sitting with them, sir.
Then the 4 of us
Russell
should leave the town.
No. They'll know better than to mess with us.
Well, Grask, I don't know if I have enough to cover a night's stay, so I'd be open to camping.
I mean, I can cover you for one night, but you pay me back.
Oh, thanks, man.
Adam, what are the room? I can never remember what tavern rooms cost in this game.
Well, in this particular tavern, you've overheard different folks booking rooms, and it seems to be the standard price is about 5 silvers for a night.
Wait, actually, I can. Just no breakfast for me.
I mean, there's all sorts of monsters and stuff out in the woods out here, so I don't wanna. I'd rather be in a town. I'm sorry. I got your back. Won't let anybody mess with you. Yes.
I know how the monsters will act, but I don't know how the men will. I trust the monsters. But this isn't my place, so I'll follow your lead.
I think most folks around here will leave you alone, Grask. You're
Watch your back.
rather intimidating for all the rest.
Yeah,
Grask scans the area and he just says, they stare though.
Yeah, but I stared too, man. Did you see how you ate that pork there? It's different, man. It's okay, though. Ain't nothing for you to worry about. Everybody's a little different in their own way.
I think they mean to challenge me.
They'd be foolish.
This might be your only chance to stay in an inn. You should try it at least once.
After that, Grask is like 100% convinced that Hugo's gonna kill him tonight.
I already love Grask. Orin is he's gonna just kind of give Grask a small smile, and he'll say, if anyone tries to go after you, they'll have to deal with the rest of us. Don't think it'll happen.
A small comfort. Okay, let's get the rooms.
My chair kind of falls back down on the floor, and I'll stand up. And once he stands up, you realize he's really not much taller than the chair. And he'll walk over to where the barkeep is and clamber up and knock on the bar and see if he can get anyone's attention.
Yes, and it doesn't take long for you notice the gentleman looks over and spots you and approaches as he kind of scratching the back of his head. You looking for rooms?
That's correct. What do you have available right now?
Oh, got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms available.
I'll take 2 gold pieces out and then slide them over to him and say, we'll take them.
Okay, that works. Let's see, key 1, 2, yeah, there, 4 keys. Thank money, yep, okay, all set, upstairs.
So I'll come back to the table and I'll put the keys on and say, I've got it for this evening. Everybody keep their gold. Almighty, make sure you eat breakfast. You're gonna need it.
Well, thanks, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're turning a new leaf over already.
There's only 4 rooms though, so 2 of us will have to shack up.
What do you say, Grask? You and me.
I sleep alone. Anyone but Hugo, really.
Grask and I have camped out a lot on our way down here, so I can crash in his bed.
I accept.
You just said you sleep alone, but all right. I won't let my feelings get hurt by that one, Grass. You're gonna love me by the end of this.
The end of what?
The glory of the tower, the Citadel. We're gonna go through this whole thing.
You mean to win the tower, they said.
Yeah. Yeah. I see great things for us in the future.
Well,
Fame and fortune.
I think all of this fame and fortune sounds nice, but I'm gonna get off to bed. You should do the same. We've got a long day tomorrow. We've got to travel, and we've got to delve.
Turning into. We'll see you all in the morning, early.
Time to hit the hay.
Grask follows Harmony.
We'll say sunrise. We'll meet outside. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Hugo just pounds his ale and then walks to the rooms.
Okay, as the group retires for the night, is there any special preparations anybody's taking here in the inn other than your standard close the door, lock it, and go to sleep?
Does the room that Grask is in have a window?
Yes, I imagine most of these rooms have windows, so let's see. Yes, I would say yours will have a window. It's facing the northeast.
We have a way out if we need it. And then he'll take his bed and just plop it sideways against the door and lie down on the floor.
Okay, nice.
Is there any kind of like chair or desk or anything in the room as well?
There's no desk, but there is a small rickety chair in your room in the corner here, Elliot.
Cool. I'll just do the classic chair under door technique.
Okay.
lock it, and kick my boots off and retire.
All right, excellent. So you guys' plan is to sleep through the night, wake up, grab a quick bite to eat, and then meet out front of the inn here?
Yes, but I believe my Harmony will conduct a ritual in the morning before.
Okay, excellent. What
proceed.
type of ritual would she like to do in the morning?
She's gonna prepare detect magic.
Okay, meaning cast the spell as a ritual, so it goes off right there in the morning?
Oh no, never mind. I misread that. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries at all. Yeah, if you are a ritual caster, then you can cast it at any time you like. It just takes an extra 10 minutes.
Okay, got it.
Okay, excellent. So I think I've got the group's plan. So yes, you guys retire for the night. Find the accommodations here to be reasonable, nothing super fancy. If you're used to more high-end things, if you come from more of, say, a noble background or even upper-class merchant background, this is a little bit on the roughing it side, but it's suitably comfortable. Not too many fleas in the beds and that kind of thing. So you wake up in the morning, grab yourself a quick bite to eat, return your keys to the counter, and make your way outside in front of the inn. And that is where I will take you guys to the Village of Red Tower map. Alright, as you stand in front of the inn here, you all saw this on the way in, and maybe you've seen it a couple times depending on how long you've been here, a day or so that you've been here in Red Tower, but this is of a particular unique type of design. No vision. Okay, appreciate that. Let me see why no vision. Ooh, somebody give me a refresh and see if that fixes it, because my recording monitor sees it, so everybody should be able to see. Oh, actually, does Harmony see?
Yes.
Okay, alright, I know what it is. That's why. Alright, hang on one sec. Sorry, guys. So I'm trying something a little bit different here to make it where I can change between nighttime and daytime fairly easily, but having done so, on the right hand side, I assume everybody can see over there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what it is then. So let me just change this one token.
I see the compass turned to the side, which is unfortunate.
It is, yes, I know. And unfortunately, some of these maps here are like that. There seems to be a lot of them that are like that, unfortunately. And
tragic.
I know. I thought the same thing, and I was like, I'm going to make sure to throw a compass on every single page so we don't get confused here. Okay, hopefully that resolved it. Everybody should be able to see now?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so what is fairly unique here is as you step outside of the inn, you notice this sort of giant like rib cage that leads up to the inn. And you would have passed this by on your way into the Cage Tavern and Inn the first time. Maybe you hadn't paid it too much attention, but the stories that you've heard inside the tavern sort of come back to you now through your drinking and eating while you're inside. People, of course, ask about this. Anybody that's new to town or even some of the locals seem to just kind of discuss this every now and then. And the short version of this story is that sometime in early creation or founding of this town, the owners of this inn were actually adventurers that killed a giant right on this spot. And they sort of built the town around it, and these are supposedly the bones, the rib cage of some massive giant.
Whoa, crazy.
Big bones.
So group, you find yourself in the Village of Red Tower here. There's obviously several places that you could go to if you're wanting supplies. There's different areas of people perhaps to talk to. You've been given this discount according to Vernon the tax collector from the mayor, as long as you mention his name. Or if you're ready to head out, you know the path to Scarlet Citadel, which is going to be up on the map, which of course, according to our directions here, is actually northwest.
Corin is gonna go run over to the general store real quick and get some rations because I realized I didn't buy any and put them in my inventory.
Okay, yes. So the general store, as it is called in here, is there's this small area that is more sort of like towards the center of town, and there's a couple of different places here there that you could perhaps buy some of that. But if you're just looking to buy and sort of run, you can purchase this for PHB prices.
Cool. Yeah. He's just gonna get a couple, 4, just so, in case we get stuck in there longer than we were thinking.
Never know what might happen.
Right.
What's this building in the center of town that looks kind of dilapidated?
Yes, so this again, probably may have heard a little bit of this from the locals. This is actually an old temple that is no longer used. It is said to have been a temple dedicated to perhaps an old deity from many years ago, and there's never really been the drive from the town to actually take it down. It is made of this very sort of old ancient rock. Based on the fact that it looks like it has been a little bit torn down, you get the impression that maybe occasionally rocks have been borrowed from here and other areas of fortification of the town. But yes, it is an old temple.
We should have just slept here.
Yeah, that would have been free, man. Should we hit the road?
I think
Yeah.
I'm ready.
All right, so it sounds like you guys want to start making your way to the Scarlet Citadel proper.
Isn't this the wrong way? The Scarlet Citadel's on the other side of town.
Whoops. I get turned around sometimes.
No, it's northwest. We're going the right direction. Are you talking about the actual red tower over there?
That's not it.
No, that's Red Tower for the town of Red Tower.
Why would they name them so similar?
Not my pay grade, man.
All right, so it sounds like you guys would like to continue and start making your way out to where you know the Scarlet Citadel to be.
Yeah, and that Vernon guy said avoid a pond, so let's make sure we walk a wide berth around any ponds.
So as you're making your way towards the wall of the town here and getting ready to start exiting, you do notice that there is a posted guard here. And as he sees you begin to approach, he gives you the kind of once-over up looking down, and then motions with his hand for you to pause. Are you all headed to the Scarlet Citadel?
We paid your tax already.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Did you happen to speak with Matilda?
We weren't
No,
really
just a man
told
named
to.
Vernon.
Yep. Vernon is the tax collector, so yes, I'm glad to hear that you paid the fee. I do have to check those things, but well, if you're interested, Matilda, she lives down by the Red Tower there. She's sort of the town's historian. If you have any questions about the Scarlet Citadel, she could probably give you those kind of details. But if you're going to head that way, then you see that path right there. Just continue taking that out, and then the road will eventually turn more towards your north. Take that, and you won't, about 3 miles from town, you won't find it too difficult to discover.
I think we should maybe talk to this Matilda lady if she knows something.
Would be nice to know what to expect. I appreciate you, sir.
Yes, you're very welcome. We ought to make sure our adventurers stay alive, right?
As I walk away and I say, and yes, keep paying the tax also.
And you see he kind of gives a chuckle as he turns back around.
Frickin' guards. I And Hugo says that under his breath, so he can't hear, hopefully.
As you make your way down this path group, you can see this red tower starting to get larger the closest you get to it. This house just west of the red tower, you see that there is a rocking chair out front, and you can see a woman sitting in it, rocking back and forth. It's a fairly decently warm day. Think of it like 65 degrees or so, but even still, she has this very thick blanket that looks to be made mostly of wool stretched across her legs as she rocks back and forth.
Pardon me, ma'am. Are you Matilda?
And you see she gives you a bright smile. Why, yes, I am. I assume you are adventurers.
Yes, that's what everybody continues to refer to us as. Must be pretty common for you to see people like us come through, I guess.
Yes, every now and again. Usually at least a few times a year, sometimes more. You're very welcome here, as I'm sure the town has told you. Did they direct you to come speak to me?
Yeah. The young lad at the far northwest gate there said that you are a historian. Scarlet
Yes.
Citadel, especially, yeah?
I
good to
am the
hear.
town's historian, yes, and I know much. Well, I don't be rude. Come in, have some tea. I won't keep you too long. I'm sure you're excited to get there, but if you have any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer, and I can give you a little bit of tidbits of information. Tidbits, love those.
Well, sure, I'd love a quick little cup of tea. I guess the first thing I'd like to know is, does anyone get into the Citadel without paying the tax? Do they enter illegally or anything like that?
You see she sort of gives you this sly smile as she pulls the wool blanket up and sets it in the chair. She stands just, come in. And you see she opens the door and invites you all in with a quick motion of her hand. You can see she's a little bit like hunched over and moving a little slow, but you don't gauge her as being super old.
I could go for some herbal refreshment.
Yes, please have a seat at the table.
All right, I follow in.
All right, as the group filters on into the home, you see she closes the door and has to do it a couple times before it actually latches. And she makes her way over and makes sure you're all sitting down comfortably at this table. It's small common fare, but again, comfortable enough. You see she takes just a few minutes to grab a kettle and makes a quick batch of tea here, or pot of tea I should say, brings it out and pours some for each of you. Once that is complete, you see she sort of sets it off to the side, sipping at her own cup of tea here. And looking towards you, she says, well, so the first things that you should know is nobody's been to the Scarlet Citadel in several months now. Sometimes we get a lot of people, and sometimes not so much. I've been curious. The state of it is, I don't go there, of course. I just get the stories from all the adventurers coming back and forth. But as a warning, about 3 months ago now, I think it was, there was an awful shake of the ground, and I'm curious if that had any impact on the Citadel itself. Well, not the below ground, of course, but above ground, well, harder to say. So you'll want to watch out for that. Who knows what exactly that could cause.
Do you recommend traveling upwards or traveling downwards?
Oh, well, there's only really down to go, you see. Any levels above ground have long since fallen away.
And why is that? Is it just time, or was it attacked, or...
Truth be told, that question can't be answered conclusively briefly, so I will just say both.
Are there many locked doors and spots that are not accessible?
Well, as I said, I've never been inside, but according to all the adventurers I've spoken to, trying to put all of their tales together, some of them seem so outlandish I had to discard them and not document them properly, but there is a recurring theme that the Scarlet Citadel has the ability to move. Not the entire structure, of course, but the interior. It's as though sometimes things shift, move around, so what exactly you will find is hard to say. First time, many years ago, going on 30 years now, I actually advised some adventurers based on some other information, and the couple that returned said no, that what I told them was not correct, and they were quite angry with me. This is the first that I thought, that's strange, because the first story had seemed so believable. So yes, it seems as though things inside can actually move.
Is this the only entrance to the subterranean area through the ruins?
Oh, that is an interesting question. Well, no, it's actually not. The Citadel goes down fairly deep, and of course, there are different paths that can get there. I know that there's at least one more. One group, about 9 years ago now, there was 7 of them, and they found this other entrance, but sadly, only one of them returned and told me that it was quite deadly. They apparently had gone in thinking that they had discovered maybe a special way that would be easier to overcome, but they were quickly destroyed by these big, furry, feathery creatures. Didn't get exact details on that one. The one survivor was a bit flabbergasted, as you can imagine.
That is interesting. Is there any specific rumors or anything like that that stands out to you that you think we should know before we go?
Specifically about the Citadel, I assume?
Yeah, is there maybe not just about the Citadel, but we heard that the road can be dangerous for those returning. Is there a specific band of criminals we need to worry about or anything like that?
Nothing particularly organized. The Baroness's soldiers, in addition to the town's guards, sweep by this area, so it's only an occasion that some group manages to go unseen. I don't think you have too much to worry about that.
Have you heard who might have made the place the Scarlet Citadel
Who created it?
originally?
Oh, there are so many different conflicting tales along those lines. It's hard to say. None of them are really conclusive. Some suggest it's just been here for a long time, but my money would be on the dwarves. You see, many, many years ago, before people came to Cerelia here, of course, well, this whole area was more forested, and the elves shared the land with the dwarves, and, well, it seems likely that the elves likely put out a call to the dwarves to build something of beauty for them, for the elves generally don't build down, and at this time the elves and dwarves actually got along fairly well, so it seems as though originally it was a dwarven construct.
Thank you.
Now, I've answered many of your questions. Would it be okay if I ask one of my own?
No, what can we hope to find to fight in the Citadel?
We'll answer one of your questions. Don't mind him. If you don't mind answering his question, though, I do think that's important. As I point up, it's like I have to point really far up because Graska's like twice my size.
You notice she sips at her tea with a little bit of a mumble as you interrupt her grasp, but she nods towards you, Elliot, as you say this. What you fight there? Well, it's a combination of things, to be sure. Sometimes local demi-humans. I don't know the correct term these days. You know, like goblins and hobgoblins and orogs, those kind of things. Sometimes they make the Citadel their home, and then they lead little raiding parties. There's always the possibility that some of the Spider's forces occasionally try to slip through for whatever reason. It's almost like they're drawn to the Citadel. And then there's always discussions of trolls, but nobody's seen a troll in this area for quite some time. So generally speaking, unless the creatures on the different levels of the Citadel have found additional exits out, it's things that can survive long periods of time underground.
Sounds to me like you'll have plenty of things to test your mettle on, Grask.
As long as they're fights we can win.
Kind of like raise my eyebrow to that, like, yeah, you're right. What was your question, Miss
Oh,
Matilda?
yes. If you don't mind me asking, I know this may be a bit personal, but do any of you happen to be scions of the ancient bloodlines?
Corin doesn't say anything, but he does blink for a moment, kind of look around at everyone self-consciously.
And you notice she takes another sip of her tea. I know some people don't want to reveal such information, but, well, how about this? Let me just say that over the years, some scions have entered the Scarlet Citadel and have fallen, and it seems occasionally the connection of their bloodline is infused in an object found in the Scarlet Citadel. If you are able to retrieve it and bring it back to me, I might be able to unlock some of the memories and the divine essence within.
Whoa.
That's awfully kind of you, Matilda. I wish that I could answer your question. However, me and my brother are orphans, and we were left behind by a caravan. I have not a clue whether I'm a scion or not, and that also leads me to ask, have you seen my brother? It'd be easy to recognize him. He looks exactly like me.
Oh, well, worry not. If you're not sure if you're Scion, then you're not, because you would have some kind of special heritage. So you're not then. Don't worry, young man. As far as your brother, no, a halfling, no, I don't recall. No halflings have come to speak to me, at least, and where I sit out on the porch there, I usually see many people coming in and out. Don't really get too many halflings here in Red Tower. I think that would stick out.
I appreciate you. I assume that the city shuts its gates at night.
Yes, of course, have to be safe.
I agree.
Hugo is going to try to make something on the table move.
Okay.
Telekinetically.
Sure, yeah, like there's different pieces of, you can think of it as like flatware. There's the teapot. You're just trying to like just shake it slightly as a distraction, or you're trying to like destroy something?
No, just to like make it lift up off the table and
Okay.
float.
Yeah, and you certainly can do so. And you notice she kind of looks towards the. We'll assume this is the teapot as it starts rising. You see she kind of looks towards it and looks back towards you all with a little bit of a raised eyebrow.
Grask immediately pours out the tea that he's been... what is in this?
Trippy.
No, that tea is just fine. I thought this was one of you.
Yeah.
Well, me.
I've started being able to do some stuff. I don't know why.
Well, that could mean many different things. But do you mind like setting it back down? That is my grandmother's.
Yeah, sure. He lowers it back down.
And
My
you see she's-
mom always told me about special blood that we had, but I didn't think it was true.
Well, it's too bad there's no kind of test or anything that we could do for this. At least I don't know of anything. But that's impressive nonetheless. Hopefully that will help you in the Scarlet Citadel. I can see how being able to move things from far away, wow, I can think of many different ways that would be helpful. But in case you don't know, well, and you see she kind of looks you up and down, you're human, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, just in case you don't know, most humans can't do stuff like that. It might get some people a little bit concerned. We know a lot of adventurers here in Red Tower. We see them pretty frequently, so most folks around here are not too surprised by things like that, because, as you can imagine, being home to many adventurers, we've seen a lot of strange things over the years. But if you were to do that a little bit further out, it might cause a little bit more concern.
Yeah, I figured as much, but you just seem so nice and so knowledgeable.
Well, yes, thank you for that. Of course, would not try to do anything wrong for you.
Grask eyes his empty cup and the teapot, and he says, "May I have more?"
Oh, of course. And you see she reaches over, puts her hand back from the teapot for a moment, reaches again with a and picks it up gently, and then pours you some more in your cup as she looks at the stain on the ground that you've poured it out.
Well,
He'll start drinking.
if we find anything like that while we're down there, I couldn't see why we wouldn't bring it to you.
That would be wonderful, and of course, as the town historian, anything that is of historical value, I would ask if you wouldn't just let me see it so I can document it. Of course, I don't really have much funds to purchase things, but every now and again, if I can convince the mayor, sometimes the town will purchase something from adventurers if it is of local interest or historical value, so you never know, it's possible.
Why did they call it the Scarlet Citadel, and why is your tower so similar?
Oh, the Red Tower is much smaller than the Scarlet Citadel. The Scarlet Citadel is named that because the rocks of it are actually red. You see, the story is, if you believe this sort of thing, and I must say I kind of do based on how long I've been here, but every time an adventurer perishes in the Scarlet Citadel, there supposedly is a mysterious artist here in town that will paint one brick of the Red Tower red. You see, the tower didn't used to be red, but now it's almost completely red.
Do you really need an artist to do that? I mean, I could do that. Paint one brick.
Well, you know how rumors go. They try to flatter everything, and it has to be a cool-sounding story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, actually. So, a lot of people dying down there, huh?
Over the years, unfortunately, yes, it's a very, very dangerous place, and hopefully that message is given to everybody.
Gnarly.
Grask definitely has like a puzzled look on his face because he's definitely changed people's things that they owned before, and he's gotten in trouble, but this artist is not in trouble, so it doesn't make any sense.
She sort of notices you looking perplexed and kind of looks back towards the teapot, looks at your cup, and, well, if that is all that you had to ask, feel free to make your way there now. I'm sure you're excited to head there. I will wish you the very best luck, and I will even say a prayer to Halen tonight and hope that he will protect you should anything bad fall your way. If there's any other things I can help you with, if you should, well, survive, I hate to use that word, but if you should survive the Scarlet Citadel and come back to Red Tower and have additional questions of anything you've seen inside, let me know. I'd be happy to talk about it any time.
How many have survived?
Oh, there's definitely been some, but if you mean full groups surviving, unfortunately not many, to be honest. Usually we get 1 or 2 or 3 people returning back from a group. Yes, it's very unfortunate. I always tell the groups, make sure that if you're going to run, everybody knows when you're going to run. Because if you just run at the first sign of danger, then those poor people that don't know you're running, unfortunately, don't make it out.
Thanks for the tip.
Very wise information, and I appreciate you. If you'll excuse me, I think I am ready to go. And
Yes,
he'll stand
please.
up.
Hope you enjoyed the tea. Have a great time. I wish you the best of luck.
Grask, seeing that like this is over, whatever this was is over, but that there's food left, he reaches out for the teapot and he takes the lid off and just kind of empties it into his mouth and like shakes out the leaves and starts chewing on those and doesn't look super pleased at the taste of the leaves.
Nice. All right, go ahead and take inspiration as you dump the kettle and everything inside of it into your gullet. And you notice her looking towards you and has this look of like, oh boy. And she actually does this like little side head shake as she looks down towards the table.
Rask, we gotta get out of here, man.
Some of the man food is very good and some of it is not good, and some parts are good and parts are very bad.
So true.
But
You're
look
just
on
not
your
drinking
face,
it right.
that looks like it was bad.
It was bad.
But you liked the drink.
The drink was good. The rest was bad.
So now you know, don't eat the leaves.
I didn't want them to go to waste.
That's very waste-minded of you. That's a good job, Grask.
That's the difference between your peoples and mine. Look at that. And he points over to the ogre bones. And he goes, that's a waste. That could be used.
It is being used.
So I
It's
manage this conversation is probably occurring as you guys are making your way back through town and started heading back towards that gate. So yes, as you pass by those and you say that, and then some of you probably remember it was actually giant bones. But yes, as you point those out, saying they're, might be wasteful here, they do kind of sit there like alabaster statues almost.
They're not part of the wall. They're not being made into weapons. It's wasting.
Hey, it's art. Don't you have art from where you're from?
Art is like in the tavern, the trophies on the wall.
Yeah, that's just a bigger trophy outside.
He cocks his head and re-examines it a little, and he goes, "Oh, he gets it now."
Oh. After Grask has this realization, Corin clears his throat and he says, I wasn't going to mention it, but I did have a dream about you, Grask, and you, Army. It was a dream of endurance. We were down in the tower below. Seemed like things were just kept coming, but you two both stood tall while it all happened. I just thought you'd like to know. So you guys all get. I just clicked this thing as a reaction. When the target would take damage, the target reduces the amount by equal to 4. So if you guys take damage, you can do that once. Eventually, I can recharge that once during the day, but I think that's level 6 all day. So it lasts until you use it. If you don't use it by the end of the night, Corn is going to dream a new dream through the night, and it'll be something else. And I just randomly picked you guys, so depending if people want a specific dream about them so that they get a buff the next day, I guess just let Corin know that you're curious, and then he'll concentrate on that.
How many "did you dream about me last night" jokes are going to be made throughout this campaign, guys?
I think quite a few.
Grask leans in and says, "I dreamed Hugo tried to break into our room."
Hugo's off smiling his half full teeth smile and just like not saying anything, just looking at you guys.
I don't think that one came true, Grask.
Not yet. If it
Harmony.
comes down to it, will you stand with me against him?
I'm sure it won't come to that, Grask, but we'll make sure we're all safe and protected.
Grask understands now. Corin's on Hugo's side.
Damn. What do I got to do to win the lizard man's trust? I dreamed about him. What else does he want?
Well, we know he likes meat.
It's a good place to start.
Not a bad idea.
All right, guys, so it sounds like your intent is now to head for the Scarlet Citadel, yes?
Yep.
All right, excellent. So we will pause here and take our 15-minute break, folks. And when we pick up on the other side, we will continue with the journey to the Scarlet Citadel.
Dun dun dun.
Heck yeah.
See y'all back at
See you in
15. Alrighty, welcome back to the second half of our session here as the group has found their way through the town of Red Tower and are currently heading off in the direction of the Scarlet Citadel. So group, you exit out of Red Tower here and follow along this path, much like the instructions that were given to you by Vernon and this guard. It seems as though this is a fairly well-known location to the Scarlet Citadel. I heard Elliot say that he wants to make sure the group takes a wide berth around the pond. So are we looking to go, which way are we looking to go around the pond here? Are we trying to, just in case it might matter, are we trying to go around the farmland way or this way? What are we thinking?
I mean, I think approaching any forest where we don't know what's in it sounds kind of sketchy. So I'm thinking more kind of like, something like that. He said under it. He said avoid the pond, so it was very quick when he was talking about it. He said, "Oh, you're going to go," is what he said. He said, "Northwest, avoid the pond, bends towards the east, follow the river. Scarlet will be visible on a hill a couple miles away." So, only thing he said avoid was the pond.
Through the fields.
Oh, yeah, are the farmers going to get mad at us?
I mean, as long as you ain't stealing their vegetables, Hugo, I couldn't imagine them being too upset with us just walking.
All right, I'm down for it.
We could walk right past it. I'm just saying, the only thing that Vernon did mention was avoid the pond. Y'all's call don't matter to me much.
How tall are the fields? Is it like full-grown corn stalks or just like...
Good question. So this is late summer at this point. So yes, they would be pretty high in growth as it's getting closer to the fall and sowing season. So 3/4 grown, I would say.
Yeah, we'll just dart over through the field, just go around. When we do this, Corin will say, I think he meant more just don't fall into it, but it's probably good to be safe.
Well, we didn't mention going swimming, so how could he mean don't fall in it? Maybe I'm just overthinking it.
No, I noted that as well. But he mentioned it.
Alrighty, group, so you exit out of the town here and start making your way through the fields to avoid the pond. So probably get out to about here, and then obviously seeing the pond there, you guys start taking a detour through the crop fields here. Kind of make your way around, scoop around, kind of doing one of these dealios, and find yourself back on the path. Pushing through the crops here is not too challenging, no issues as you make your way around and find yourself back on the road proper and continue heading along the path. So it doesn't take you too long, about close to an hour walking along this path. You see it's mostly settled here, or it's like an actual dirt path here, but the further away from Red Tower you get, the more it turns into kind of just a beaten track. You could think of it as not traveled as much as this path that leads out to the farmlands, but after about an hour or so, you can start to spot the Scarlet Tower up on a small hill. So the structure stands atop a low hill that slopes off gradually all around. The slope is gentle, but the ground is rugged, broken by ravines, boulders, tangled brush, and fallen trees. When the keep was in use, the ground around it must have been cleared for several hundred yards in every direction. Since the fort's fall, trees and brush have regrown right up to the fortress and even inside the courtyard. The fort was breached at the northwest and southeast corners, but the rest of the walls and the main keep still stand. The outer walls are 15 feet high, the main tower rises 40 feet, and the secondary keep is 30 feet tall but heavily damaged. Despite the damage and decay, it's easy to see why it was named the Scarlet Citadel. The red stone blocks used in its construction stand out starkly against the greenery. No one comes here anymore except hopeful adventurers like yourselves, so the old road from the town of Red Tower is now no more than a weed-choked track. And group, this is what you see.
Well,
Right.
we made it.
Yeah, but are we alone here? And I would like to look for signs of tracks or footprints to see if anyone has recently gone in.
Certainly. Go ahead and give me a blind survival check, and we'll see what you're able to discover. You do notice some tracks pretty quickly here, Hugo. They look fairly large, in fact. I'm going to take that... actually, I'm going to ask you to make a second check, because that wouldn't be fair to tie it to the same one. Go ahead and give me another blind check for nature to see if you can spot exactly what type of creature this is. This, yes, as you're investigating this looks very similar to a large bear track, perhaps, but there's something off about it. And as you're kind of looking through the imprint on the ground and kind of circling around, you would guess that this creature is of the larger of the bears. So if you think of, some bears are more medium-sized, smaller size, this seems to be at the very high end of that scale based on the size of the print. And it is some type of bear. I don't know if you would have particular experience with a specific bear. I would tell you based on your check there, but I'm not sure if Hugo would be familiar with this, so I'll just say very large bear is what it takes away.
Yeah, he's more of a city boy, but he's gonna point it out and go, "Big bear came through here."
Having it pointed out, could I try and figure out what kind of bear it is?
You could give me an idea of what type of experience we think Grask has with bears.
He's lived out in the wild for a long time and traveled alone, so certainly he's run into a couple variety of them.
How many bears have Grask wrestled?
Okay, Grask, give me a blind check, please, to see if you can identify the specific species of bear.
Are you thinking this is probably nature?
That's what I'm thinking, yep. You do not know. You can tell by the size of it that it's large. Again, I would say between you and Hugo putting your heads together, this is one of the largest bear prints that you've ever seen, but no, you cannot tell specifically what type. It doesn't look exactly like any types that you're familiar with, or at least you can't figure it out.
I don't know this one. Watch out.
Is it directionally, Adam? After they point him out, is it going like this way? Is it going more this way? Can we see the direction that it's heading?
Hugo can tell that it looks like there are tracks both going in and out. So the tracks seem to lead sort of like this in this direction, but then there's also what you presume to be, Hugo, sort of return tracks, almost like a trek that this creature makes inside and out.
Looks like it comes and goes from here.
Well, let's get going before it comes our way, I suppose.
All right, now as you guys are eyeing this, obviously you can tell this is sort of the wall of the Scarlet Citadel itself. You'll notice there's this opening here, which gives you the impression of sort of like a gateway. Then there's a ton of rubble where the southeast wall has collapsed. This, you can't see through it because it's a pile of rubble, but don't think of it as a solid barrier. Of course, if you wanted to try to climb this or climb something, you could certainly attempt.
Are we at the main entrance or the side one?
You would presume this to be the main entrance because you haven't seen any secondary entrances.
The lady told us a story of a group who thought they found a secret entrance, but ran into a group of bears. We've got bear tracks that we don't know.
She said furry and feathery, so that's half true.
This seems like the main spot, though. This isn't a very hidden entrance. We just stumbled upon this.
Well, I don't see any bears right now. But they may be sleeping or around the corner.
And as an FYI for Harmony and Grask, I've added little shield icons with a number 4 on that. That is the ability that Corin used. So once you use that, just go ahead and remove that shield.
Nice.
Well, should we walk around the perimeter or just head on in?
I suppose we just head on in. I mean, that's what we came here to do, right?
Do you want to leave a note for your brother if he's maybe not in there yet, but approaching?
You know, normally I would, but do we really want people knowing our comings and goings, as you said, Hugo?
I suppose not. Well, maybe next time, if we figure it's safe. If we don't find any more clues.
I ain't found much in the way of clues at all yet.
But let's get on with it then. Who wants to go first?
Adam,
Yes.
glancing at this thing right here, what does this look like? Some rubble?
It is, yeah. So it's rubble that's piled kind of high here. You could attempt to climb it. Again, you're stepping over loose rocks and brick and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, sure, why not?
All right, as you attempt to climb it, go ahead and throw a public athletics check.
Public?
Yep, this one you're going to know whether or not you succeed pretty quickly. Yeah, so you start climbing this and ascending it without much difficulty. You get towards the top of it, and you can see further in.
No bears. Looks abandoned.
From here, however, you can make out a bit more of this area that you're nearby, as well as the area just to your north. The buildings lining the fortress walls were originally barracks, workshops, and stables. Now they're almost completely in ruins. Their slate-shingled roofs have fallen in, and only portions of the interior walls remain. There are no doors or windows still in their frames, and the original floors are buried under up to a foot of debris. Brush grows from every patch of dirt, and vines drape the ancient walls.
Seems like most of the doors are blocked up. I don't think we'll get in this way, but it might give us a better vantage further. Should I keep going? Do you want me to come back down?
Well, if we walk this way, can you see us?
I think technically yes, but mechanically no right now.
Correct.
Let's not split up. Hop on down here.
Corin will nod and descend.
So this group's fairly new. So Grask and Armony have probably fought at least something on the road here. Do you think the others have fought together as well? Has Grask seen the others fight?
Your decision, guys. What do you think?
Well, I think Hugo joined up with you guys after Proudglaive, so I don't know. It's probably like safer in these areas, right? There's not many monsters or anything to fight from Proudglaive to here. So probably not for Hugo and you guys.
Yeah, I would say Corin and I probably played it safe until we met up with you guys.
Then stealth mission.
You see that Elliot really favors that crossbow that he's got in his hand.
Grask turns to Armony.
If things get bad, do you think you could outrun the small one?
Pretty fast.
Good. All right, I'm the largest, so it makes sense that I go first.
Corin pulls out a small crystal that he keeps in the palm of his hand and starts walking forward.
Oh, that's probably a good time to ask the group, what are in your hands currently?
Grask has his weapon drawn.
That is battle axe or great axe?
Great axe.
Great axe, okay. How about, so Corin has a crystal. Anything else in his other hand?
Empty right now.
Okay, and Elliot?
Normally in a situation like this, he would have his sword and scimitar. Sword and shield, but he's got his crossbow out right now.
Okay, crossbow. And how about Hugo?
Rapier and shield.
Excellent. Okay, and Armony?
Wooden staff and a mace.
Okay, got it. All right, so you guys look like you're prepared for danger.
All right, let's advance.
Grask, as you get to about here, looking to your northeast, you see a mound of shaggy brownish fur.
Grask hunches over almost like a perch and points in that direction and tries to give a little room so others can move up and see it. And I'll switch my over there.
Is it fair to assume you're all attempting to enter this area quietly?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, I'm going to ask the group to go ahead and throw me blind checks here to represent your stealth efforts and see how well you do.
It's 4 nat 20s so far.
5 now.
Okay, group, as you're entering this area and as Grask points this out in this direction, one of you, I won't pick on anybody in particular just yet, as you're moving this way, kicks perhaps into a bit of debris or rock here that goes clattering across the ground. Click, click, clickety, clack, click. And with that, you notice the brown fur beginning to move. Harmony, you are the quickest to react to this occurrence. What would you like to do?
Wait, do I need to roll my own initiative?
Oh, yes, you do. I already forgot that, and I was the one that told you. Yes, please re-roll that. And, okay, looks like we didn't have your token selected, but I'll just update that in the screen real quick. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Yep, no worries. And then we'll resort that. Okay, Corin, you are the quickest to react.
Oh, shit. Okay. The bear's moving. Guys, I've never played a sorcerer before. I don't know what I'm doing. Corin.
Spells.
Oh, okay. The crystal in Corin's hand starts to glow, and a wisp of visible air flies around him and encases him in a strange seeming armor, almost like a mage armor, as he casts mage armor on himself. And then he looks back at everyone else and he says, I think it hurt us, and he'll scoot back. I think that's it. Nope, not that one. I was so used to my end of turn button being on the at that spot, so I think I need to switch those around. Anyway.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Remember, you can slide those because I do that all the time when they're not in the same order I'm used to. Okay,
Yep.
Grask, it is your turn.
Okay, Grask turns to the group and he says, "We don't know if we can win. We're leaving." And he's going to prepare an action to run 30 feet this way once he can see the creature. He wants to size it up and then run.
Okay, so essentially once he gets it in full clear view, he's going to take his radiant action to run.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. All right, from the other side of this area, you see this lumbering brown mass stand up to its height, and you can see this shaggy brown fur. Suddenly a loud avian-like screech rings out, echoing through this area. With that, you see some movement. And I'll rely on you, Grass, to say when you feel you've got it in full sight.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, feel free to take your movement. As it comes around the corner, you notice a large bear-shaped body, but with the face of some type of great bird, perhaps an eagle, with this open maw and this serrated beak. It comes rushing on all four legs, moving very quickly towards the group. Elliot's turn.
Elliot is going to kind of tip his hat up forward, and then you see him kind of close one eye, and he's going to take his light crossbow shot. I believe it's in range.
Sure is, yeah, 80 feet for that.
Perfect.
The bolt shoots through the air and smashes right into the creature, penetrating into its fur. Go ahead and post damage. Wounding it with that bolt.
Alright, and I'm going to take word from Grask, and I'm going to move to here with my 30 feet and turn around and then load up another crossbow bolt and end my turn.
Okay, Hugo's turn.
Hugo looks back at everyone running away. He's like, "Oh, this is the plan now? Hugo's in the front?" And Hugo will, yeah. He's going to rush up and slice or stab at this thing with his rapier.
All right, Hugo rushes up the 25 feet to get next to the big creature and stabs forth. Go ahead and make an attack with your rapier. You stab forth, but the thin blade gets caught in this creature's fur and is unable to penetrate.
And Hugo looks up at him and goes, "Just kidding."
All right,
And
anything
then
else
that's it.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
that's
go
the
ahead.
end of my turn, and I'll end my turn.
All right, yeah, hit your unturn button, and then we will move to Harmony.
Harmony yelps and sees that Grask is right next to her, so she's going to reach out and touch his scales and cast guidance on him. And then she's gonna try to scale the ruins up here.
Okay, so essentially you're trying to climb on top of this rubble.
Yes.
All right, go ahead and throw me a public athletics check as you start climbing to the top of this. Harmony, as you begin to ascend this area, you get up a decent ways. However, as you cross this chunk of rubble, it suddenly shifts underneath you as you slide down, smashing and crushing your leg, suffering 7 points of damage.
Oh my god.
You can use your reaction for that, I think.
Can I? Or is that just attacks?
Let me read the text again. As a reaction, when the target would take damage, so yeah, it doesn't say it has to be an attack. So I agree with that.
Yeah, let's burn that dream.
All right, take that shield icon off you, and only 3 points of damage. And as a quick reminder to take those icons off, just click your token. There's that little joystick icon, and then if you click that, there'll be a list of various icons. Scroll down till you find the shield icon. It will be surrounded by a bluish square. Just click that, and it will take the icon off you.
Joystick?
Yep, so if you click your token, notice how there's like a gear cog, and then there's the other one. I always call it a joystick. It looks different to different people. So if you click that little joystick icon, and then there's a little list of token markers that will pop up, there should be a vertical scroll bar that you can take down until you find the shield icon, and just click it to remove that one.
Yeah, I didn't realize I could scroll down. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So as you ascend and then slide down here, suffering this damage as you smash your leg into this rock, is there anything else you would like to do?
No, but I think I accidentally moved my token. I'm not sure I'm in the right space.
I believe I had you right there, so that's where you should be.
Okay, cool.
And, concentration, actually, on the guidance. Oh, it already rolled it for you automatically. Excellent. You succeeded to the top of the round with Corin.
Well, let's go crazy here. So, I'm going to cast as a quickened spell. Yep, I'm gonna quicken spell cast Chaos Bolt.
From where you're standing right now?
Yeah.
And I assume you're obviously targeting the beast?
Correct.
Okay, I am going to give it cover as you're shooting through Grask.
Can I just move down one
You
square?
sure can, yeah.
Okay. So, yep, I'm going to fire that off.
All right, and then I think I built in Quicken Spell for you as an attack, so just click that to burn those points. You fire off that Chaos Bolt as a bonus action thanks to Quickened Spell, and go ahead and post damage.
I think it must not be taking the, doing the subtracting on the spell slot, but I'll get it. There it goes.
Yeah, not until you post the damage. I think this one has something special, right? We got to look at the die rolls.
Yep. So there's a 8 and a 7, so it can either be psychic or thunder. I'm gonna go with psychic.
Okay, psychic damage, and yes, as this Chaos Bolt flashes out towards a creature, what does your Chaos Bolt look like, Corin?
Again, he's got his crystal out in front of him, and he, I guess it starts to pulsate. And before, when the mage armor came around, it was just kind of this white air-looking thing. But this is more of a kaleidoscope kind of color coming out of it. And then after a moment, the swirling colors then settle on a single thing, which I don't know what psychic energy looks like, maybe purple, and that solidifies into a ball with little wisps flying behind it, and it shoots off, hitting Eagle Face in his head.
Nice. Strikes into the creature solidly. Yes, a good strike. As you can see, it reels from this blow of magic.
And I'll follow that up with a tried and true firebolt.
The firebolt unfortunately sails overhead of the creature.
Well, I tried. And he'll move another few feet back. I think that is it.
All right, we move to Grask's turn.
Graska turns around and he's very frustrated that Hugo's thrown his life away. He'll step forward just a little bit and he'll yell, "I'm not going to die for you, Hugo. Run!" And he's going to throw a javelin.
All right, so you take a hand off of that great axe and throw a javelin out. I believe it's 30 feet range on the javelin. So, okay, there you go. Go ahead and make an attack. Unfortunately, the javelin hits low, striking into the cobblestone ground.
He'll step back.
Hugo, the fearsome beast, roars in your face as you rush up towards it. It is going to attempt to claw you as it reels up, slashing towards you. Please give me a defensive roll.
All right. Is this thing affected by protection from good or evil?
It is not one of those types, no.
Okay. So just defense roll?
Yep, so just click your token. You'll find that defense roll at the top. Okay, so you try to evade this strike. However, based on his strength, he overcomes your defenses, tearing into your body. You will suffer 18 points of slashing damage from this strike.
Oh, God. All right, I'm down.
Hugo, you suffer this massive blow, dropping immediately to the ground from the creature's strike. After Hugo goes down, you're going to see the creature starts hustling over the downed body of Hugo to engage over with Grask. As we move to Elliot's turn. Hugo, when you click on your token, you'll notice that green bubble at the top. Go ahead and click in that green bubble that currently has your HP in it and just hit -14 to set yourself to 0, as that has dropped you to 0. And I am going to throw a quick bleeding icon on you so that we know that you are currently at risk of death saves. Elliot, your turn.
Alrighty. Well, okay. So Elliot's gonna move here, and it kind of looks more like a sidewards roll, and he kind of settles on one knee and closes his eye again, and he's gonna take a shot with Isabel, his crossbow.
This will connect. Piercing into the creature and wounding it once again.
All right, Grass, like you said, ain't worth dying for. Let's get out of here. That was 10, so this is 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm gonna move this way.
All right, Hugo's turn. Since you're at 0 HP, Hugo, please open your character sheet and switch from public to 2GM at the top left there. And then you'll notice in the middle of your character sheet, next to your hit dice, there is a thing that says death saves. Just put your cursor over the word death saves, and it is highlighting, letting you know you can click that, and click it once, please. All right, and then we don't declare this to the team. Nobody knows if you succeeded or failed, and I will pass your turn as we move on to Harmony.
Can I see Hugo?
If you can see him currently from your token, then yes, I would say you can see him.
Oh, okay. So is the rubble like a hill, and like I've come down on the other side of it?
Yes, exactly.
I think I started there, right?
That is correct, yep.
Okay.
All right, about 20 feet of movement so far.
Sorry, when I hit the right mouse button, it moves the map for me while I'm trying to also get
Yes.
the measuring.
If you hold down the right, it is pane. It'll like move. So I would recommend just using the keys on your keyboard to move one step at a time. It just seems to work out much better.
Okay, I can see him from here, so I'm going to start waving my wooden staff through the air and murmuring some incantations, and I'm going to cast Healing Word on Hugo.
Excellent. Go ahead and post that. We'll see how much HP Hugo is restored. 10. Nice roll. Okay, so Hugo, you get 10 HP back. So you bounce up. You're no longer bleeding, no longer needing to make death saves. However, you will suffer 1 level of exhaustion. So I'll go ahead and add that exhaustion icon for you. And on your character sheet, Hugo, you'll notice in the center there's a box that says exhaustion level, and it currently says 0. If you put your cursor there, there's a little up arrow. Just click that up 1, and it's going to tell you exactly the effects of your exhaustion. And if you have trouble seeing that, it's just below your death saves on the character sheet. Okay, that was a bonus action for Armony. Anything else on your turn here, Armony?
Yeah, then I step out from around the corner and oh shoot. Oh, sorry. Can I cast Sacred Flame as my main action?
You can, because it's a cantrip, yes. All right, you cast Sacred Flame, and it comes down striking into the creature. Go ahead and post damage. The radiant energy burns this hairy creature badly. It is starting to look quite wounded.
And then I'm going to step back behind the corner again.
I believe you've got 5 feet of movement left there, Harmony. Perfect. Okay, and we move then to the top of the 3rd round with Corin.
I think it physically, like, I can see the health bar, but it looks beat up at this point, right?
Yes, it does. I would say wounded. It's hard to tell exact, percentages or whatever, but certainly it's looking haggard.
All right. Corin will say, I think it's nearly dead. Just don't run off it yet. And then he'll scoot down this. He's gonna scoot right over here, I guess, in the middle of this fern, and then he's gonna shoot another firebolt. No, he's going to Toll the Dead.
All right, you cast Toll the Dead at the creature, and this will connect. Go ahead and post damage for that. The creature is wounded, so we'll take that second roll as the necrotic energy courses through its body, wounding it.
And I'm done.
Okay, Grask, face to face with the fearsome beast. What do you do?
The tide shifts. We can't outrun it, and it's injured. Hold your ground. I'm going to rage.
Alrighty, you rage.
And I will, I no longer have a javelin because I threw it, so I'll grab my great axe. And I will swing at this bad boy.
Alright, you chop down at the creature and do indeed connect. Go ahead and post damage. Slashing into the creature, dealing it a near mortal blow.
I can smell the blood in the air, and I am going to bite it.
Nice. Go ahead and give a bite attack. The bite of your teeth of your maw gets caught up in its fur, unable to penetrate.
Alright, that's me.
Grask, the creature, goes into an out-and-out blood rage as it lashes towards you. Defensive roll, please. As its claws slash right towards your face, you manage to duck just under them, suffering no damage as we move to Elliot.
Elliot running away. He hears Corin and Grask, and then he stops and puts his head down and goes, they're going to do it, then so will I. And I'm going to run back in, and I'm going to do kind of like a dive-in superhero crossbow shot.
It's got to be a good roll since you described it like that.
Well, let's hope. I guess. Here we go.
You dive, fire the bolt off, but no, it strikes into the Citadel's wall.
All right, and I'm going to kind of roll and then use my last 10 feet to bounce to here and reload my crossbow and say, it's almost there. Hugo's up. We got this.
All right, Hugo, conscious now, but you are currently prone, having been knocked to the ground. What would you like to do?
If I wanted to switch to my crossbow, would that? I know I'd have to stow my weapon and all that stuff. As far as like action economy, what does that constitute?
Yeah, it would be quite challenging for you right now because you have a shield, if I recall correctly. So in order to take the shield off, that's actually an action. And then you'd have to pull your crossbow, load it. So unfortunately, you're not going to be able to do all that in one round.
All right. So, but I would be able to sheath my rapier and pull a dagger.
You can drop your rapier and then interact with object to pull a dagger from your side, sure.
Okay. So Hugo's going to stand up.
Okay, that'll use half his movement as he stands up.
And I'm going to move the rest of my movement to get to here, and then I will throw my dagger.
Nice. Go ahead and post a thrown dagger towards the back of the creature. All right, you can go ahead and set yourself back to public for that, but we'll take that roll. That is going to connect. And Hugo, how would you like to kill this large creature?
So as he's all grappled with Grask and fighting it, I just want the dagger to just split the top of its skull right in half and just come out the forehead.
Nice. So the dagger penetrates incredibly deep, going right through the back as the creature plummets suddenly to the ground in death. All right, group, you have successfully defeated this creature, and we are out of combat.
Hugo, are you all right?
What the hell was that thing?
Grask raises his weapon above his head and just starts chopping the creature up for transportation.
For transportation? What does that mean?
So that we can take it with us.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to somehow use it as a transportation vehicle or something.
Turn it into a
The
cart.
pilgrims used to ride these babies for miles.
He was talking about using bones, so he's got to make a raft or something.
There you go. Try to make some
That's
wings
neat.
out of the owlbear.
That's funny.
Thing hit pretty hard, I gotta say.
It looked like it got you pretty good. Adam, can I as Grask is chopping it, can I try to avoid the blood splatter and get a quick eye on what exactly it is? Have I ever seen this before?
Give me an Arcana check blind there, Elliot, to see if you recognize this beast.
Can Corin get in on that Arcana check action too?
Are you proficient in Arcana, Corin?
I am.
All right, you two of you put your heads together, and between the two of you, you are able to determine that this is what is known as an owlbear. There's been many stories in the past of a magical experiment that combines the fearsomeness of a large brown bear with the predatory instincts of a great eagle, and that is what lies before you.
Hugo would like to retrieve the dagger, if possible, from the skull.
Yeah, give me a public athletics check here, Hugo. You step forward and grab your hand on the hilt of this dagger, and you're pulling and pulling and pulling, and this thing does not want to come out. This strike was so solid, it is buried deep.
Grask, mind doing me a favor and chopping around this thing a little bit?
And he'll just smash the skull open.
All right, with a couple whacks, yes, you sever the head, striking it and just smashing it, and sure enough, the dagger is then able to be wiggled free and back in your possession, Hugo.
Is the owlbear feathered?
Around its face and neck, it is sort of feathered. It almost looks like a combination of bear fur and feathers there.
If Harmony can retrieve a feather, she'll weave it into her hair.
You can, yes. Go ahead and add owl bear feather to your character sheet.
Adam, I want to, while everybody's looking at the owlbear, I want to kind of slowly and cautiously grab around this corner and look into the interior of this chamber. Do I see any other bears or anything similar?
Give me a blind perception check, Elliot. No, the courtyard seems to be empty.
Just step forward. Well, I've got to say, Hugo, you've got some gusto on you. You charge that thing head on.
Well, that's what we're here to do, right? But we're delving into this tower. Figured the first thing I see isn't gonna take us down, right?
Well, if the half-elf won't hear, one of us would have had to have dragged your corpse away.
Yeah. Next time I'm following the lizard man out.
You're lucky the creature wanted to fight. If it had chosen to eat you, we would have just run.
Is that our strategy from here on? If we see something, we're gonna start running first.
Why would you fight something if you don't know you can win?
He's got a point. And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to pluck the extra piece of grass that I grabbed before the fight out of my hat and then put it back in and look back over my shoulder and go, it's my last piece of grass. Hopefully we don't have to fight anything else.
Grask finishes chopping the thing up, and he says,
Do you think it will taste more like bear or like chicken?
I don't know. But I suppose we'll find out.
and Grask will take a bite. Adam, does it taste more like bear or chicken?
I'm going to say it tastes more like bear with a hint of arcane magic in there.
It tastes like gamey bear.
Well, now we know.
Curran, open your pack, and he's holding a bunch of limbs that he's chopped off.
One aside, if you guys ever played like Far Cry, there's like he does this harvesting of animals, and like it's basically like just puts like stuff in like his backpack, which I'm imagining is 100% what this is like. Corin, he just friends just a little bit, and he says, "Why don't how about I get something to wrap that up in, and then we'll stow it."
Sure.
Is that why your money pouch is so slimy and sticky?
Maybe. Probably. I
To
don't pay
each their own.
Honestly, I don't know what I have that we might be able to wrap that up in. I guess Corin's gonna take off like his cloak, and he'll just wrap that up in. And frowning while he's doing it.
And Grask looks proud.
All right, as you're wrapping this up and the remnants of this battle are still fresh in your mind, the strangest thing can suddenly be heard on the air. It's some kind of a song, and I will need everybody to make a wisdom saving throw.
I think if this is a charm or enchantment that half elves in this world are still got advantage on those, right?
If you have an ability that gives you advantage against charm, that would apply here.
Got both.
There you go. Yeah, so go ahead and make another roll, Corin.
Great.
Okay, Corin and Grask. The two of you seemingly are affected by this as this music, this sweet, beautiful music, fills your ears. You feel compelled to get closer to the sound of this music, which you can tell is emanating from the tower to the northwest. And because the two of you are affected so, I'm going to put us in initiative order. So I'm going to move our carcass out of the way so I don't get that. And I'm going to throw you guys in a quick initiative. And then I'll ask Harmony to re-roll her initiative. Okie doke, excellent. So, Corin, at the top of the round, you are the first to act. And because of this effect, you are magically compelled to approach this location. So essentially, what you realize is this song, as I mentioned, is emanating from this tower up here. So you are magically compelled to make your way up the tower.
Northwest or northeast? Or
I will let
which
you
direction?
decide because the magic doesn't infer any knowledge to you. So whatever you think would be the closest way to get there, I would say is appropriate here.
Did we just see you run back and forth?
Yeah.
Oh,
I just
wow.
rubber band.
Still locked there. Go ahead.
And that was 10 and 20. I got a dash too.
Let's see. It doesn't specify you have to dash, so I will say no, but obviously you can't move away from it.
Mm-hmm. Does Corin have any like other thoughts aside from just needing to get near wherever that is?
I would say you still have all your typical thoughts, but this magic compulsion is drawing you to get closer and closer to this location, and because of the magic, it seems completely reasonable that you would do so.
Okay, I guess he's not going to say anything because he's just curious on what this is. And I don't think I have anything else that I'm going to do. Nope. So that is my turn.
Okay, next up is Elliot. So Elliot, you hear this terrible screeching sound through the air that seems to be emanating from the tower to your northwest. It's just this atrocious cacophony of sounds. What would you like to do?
As I turn and look, I see that Corin isn't here, so I'm going to move forward 30 feet and say, Grask, where did Corin go?
He'll just point.
Why?
Didn't say.
I'm going to use my dash at him and just wrap around the corner here. Oh, there he is. I'm going to yell to him, Corin, what'd you see?
I think Corin just kind of like does a nonchalant like wave away at Elliot as he keeps on.
Right, so
walking.
from an imagination perspective, Corin, you're still hearing this beautiful music. You are probably having all these visions of your head of whatever you deem to be an attractive individual singing a beautiful song, lulling you to get closer. While Elliot, you're hearing this terrible screeching sound that is just filling the air, and it sounds like one of the worst sounds you've ever heard.
Well, that's my action, so for now, I guess I'm gonna wave my hand for Hugo and Armani to follow me as I'm trying to follow Corin around the corner. Corn around the corner. Woo!
Say it 3 times fast.
Before Grask's turn, the sound is hard to hear over the sound of the beautiful and or terrible music, but you can make out the sound of wings occurring as a being suddenly flies over the keep's roof. And Elliot, from above, you see this large, well, not really large, I'd say human-sized creature flying overhead of you. As it looks down towards you, you can see this terrible-looking combination of between a woman and some type of bird, as it has the lower limbs of an eagle with taloned feet, and its head has this sort of feathered headdress, but mostly it is a combination then of humanoid, perhaps human, perhaps elvish. As it is overhead, you notice it grabs a piece of the structure here and drops it down upon you. I will need you to make a defensive roll, please. The piece of rubble smashes down into you solidly here, Elliot. And you will suffer 7 points of damage from the collapsing rock.
Ow.
Okay, and next up is Grask. So, for those of you with line of sight on this creature, keep in mind it is currently 30 feet up in the air.
So, do I hear the sound coming from that creature? I can
You
see it
do.
to the northeast.
You see it coming from this beautiful creature flying up above. It looks almost like a swamp angel or whatever lizard men think look awesome.
Yeah, so I was trying to think of what the best thing could be for Grask, and I like back home. Once people were like noon or supper time rolled around, they had this like bell style thing that they would ring to indicate that the food was ready, and so it looks and sounds like that to him.
So, flying bell.
All right.
He's got some like drool going on. He's Pavlov style.
All right, so obviously you are compelled to get closer to it, and I will say again, take your intuition here about what that means to Grask. If that means get right underneath her and just look up, I would say that's acceptable. If that's try to climb to the top, if that you think that's what Grask would do, that's acceptable. So basically use your judgment of what you think that means to Grask.
How climbable does this look?
Not very.
How tall is this if I climb it?
If you were to climb the rubble and try to get up on that other piece, probably somewhere in the 15 to 20 foot range.
Okay, so this would still be further. I mean, I'm pointing it in a style that no one else can see. This would still be further than if I just was standing underneath them here.
Yes. I mean, total feet distance wise, yes.
Okay, I think Grass could move directly underneath them and just like stare straight up at them. Maybe I'll move slightly off there for convenience.
Yep. That works.
And he'll shout, "I'm ready for it."
All right. Next up is Hugo.
And since this thing is flying up in the air, can we see it from where we are?
From where you are, no, because where it's flying is visually is obstructed by the building.
So I guess, and could I say that I picked up my rapier at the end of that other comment since I dropped it to pull my dagger?
I think that's fair to assume that as a combatant you would try to retrieve your weapon. So yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, and I'll try to say it in the future too. But all right, cool. So I guess I'll just run towards Elliot.
Watch your head, Hugo.
Where is it?
I'm gonna point up.
So still not being able to see it. I guess I will ready in action. Oh, you know what? I'll since he points up, Hugo will stow his shield and pull his crossbow out and load his crossbow.
So action to remove shield, and then interact with object to draw the crossbow. So at the moment, you would have crossbow in one hand, rapier in the other. Is that right?
Yeah. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to take that back and just say I'm going to keep the shield and the rapier, and I'm going to ready in action to attack anything that comes within striking distance of the rapier.
Okay, got it. So you're ready to strike melee if a creature gets within range. All right,
Yep,
if there's
that's the end of
anything
the
else.
turn.
All right, yep, go ahead and hit your button there, and we will move to Armony.
Where's everybody going? I think I'm gonna dash because I want to see what's going on.
All right, you dash around the corner, and you notice this flying creature up above, essentially flying just above the wall here on this side of the keep. All right, so that was your action to dash. Anything else in your turn, Armony?
I was just checking. I'm gonna shout to Corin, "Where are you going?"
All right, we move to Corin, still on your judgment of what this means to you, Corin.
Was the song coming from her specifically, or
Yes.
I think Harmony says that, and then Corin abruptly turns around and really doesn't even look at her, and then starts heading forward again, and kind of like grabs on, like tries to shove Grask out of the way as he tries to get closer to her.
And Grasp is totally trying to body block you too, because he knows if he gets there first, he's going to get the best pieces.
Yeah, we're just having a little shoving match right now, and I think that's it.
Okay, fair enough. If that's it, we will pass your turn and move to Elliot.
How high up above me is it?
30 feet.
Okay. So I am going to. You guys see that Elliot's kind of like on like a crouch stance after getting hit from that, and he kind of raises his head up, and as he does, he takes his finger and runs it across the blood, and smiles and says, "It's been a while since anyone's made me bleed," and then he's going to take a real deep breath. So as a bonus action, I'm going to cast Second Wind. Nice.
All
That's
right.
exactly how much I lost, so that's cool. And then I am going to move. I still got Isabel in my hand, so I'm going to move. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to move that, Adam. I went the wrong direction. I'm going
I
to
haven't even
move.
seen you move yet.
Okay, cool. I'm going to try to move under this tree here. And as I'm moving, I'm going to turn, stop, and shoot, and then keep moving. So I'm going to see if I can fire a crossbow shot at her.
Okay. The bolt sails over her head up into the air.
I'm going to try to hide my small little body up in this tree here. In my turn.
All right, next is her turn as the beautiful / horrendous song continues to emanate from this area. She will fly over here and down towards Armony. Armony, as she gets to a point where she's flying about 5 feet above you, you notice these claws, these talons on her feet slash out towards you, and I will need you to make a defensive roll, please. Yes, you managed to get maybe your quarterstaff up and block this enough to suffer no damage. As we move to Grask, who is still hearing this beautiful music.
So is she at ground level now, or she's 5 feet above?
She's 5 feet above, so she's 5 feet above Armony's head.
I mean, I can reach out and touch her. What does it want me to do once I've gotten close enough?
Basically, the compulsion is for you to stand very close and adore this shape.
I guess I'm doing that now then?
Yes, yeah, I would say so.
Okay, Grask might hug it, but that feels like it might be mechanically a little strong, so.
Yeah, I would say so.
Alright,
All right, move to Hugo's turn.
All right.
It smells good.
All right, Hugo turns the corner, finally sees this thing, and yeah, I guess at this point, I'll stow my shield and take out my crossbow. And so I'll have crossbow and rapier.
Okay, so action to remove the shield, interact with object to draw the crossbow. So crossbow and rapier, exactly perfect. Anything else in your turn, Hugo?
Yeah, no, that's it. Sorry, that's it.
No worries. All right, go ahead and pass your turn. We move to Harmony.
Harmony is gonna be Harmony will shoot off some sacred flame at her.
All right, you call down some sacred flame towards the creature. You go ahead and sell yourself back to public, but unfortunately, she is going to evade that as she whisks her wings and avoids the sacred energy.
And okay. I'm just going to stay here then. um, if I swung out with my mace, she wouldn't be close enough to hit, would she? Or is
She would be. She's only 5 feet above your head.
Okay, good to know. Thanks.
Okay, top of the next round. Corin still totally filled with adoration of this being.
I was pressing the escape button and not my talk button. We're just gonna repeat what I was doing with Grask, but except now I'm kind of like shoving Arminia over too.
Trying to get as close as you can to the being. Okay, makes sense. As we move to Elliot.
Okay. Elliot sees that everybody's kind of enamored, and he looks over at Hugo, and he tries to casually. You see him close his eyes, and when he opens them again, they're a dark black, and he begins to whisper in like very quick, kind of like tongues. And as he does so, he's going to try and use one of his blood abilities. I hope I didn't have to use it so early, but he's going to try to cast Command. And he's just going to yell. The only coherent thing you hear as he's looking at the harpy is silence.
All right, go ahead and give me a spell effect roll. Now, this is actually going to be based on charisma. And so don't do spell effect roll because that's not going to be built in. Give me just a charisma saving throw.
Okay, yeah, my charisma sucks, but here we go.
All right, you feel this sort of bile building up in your body as you call forth upon your bloodline, ushering forth this command, but the creature does not seem to be affected.
I'm just gonna shout as I like shake my head and go, oh, Harmony, we gotta get out of here. And I'm going to try to move towards Hugo. I think I'm stuck in the tree here.
Mechanic? Yeah, I can just pull you out real quick.
Cool. So I'm going to try to move, tuck around the corner here. Oh, I think that was one too many. So I'll go back to beside Hugo.
All right. And yes, as this song continues emanating, The creature is going to once again try to hit you with her claws, Harmony. Please give me another defensive roll. Yes, once again, watching her carefully, making sure she can't hit you. You duck just as she comes down. Grask, I think it's fair to say we're going to skip Grask and Corin's turn just to speed things up, unless you guys disagree.
Nope, that's it.
Perfect. All right, Hugo's turn.
All right. So, yeah, as a bonus action, so I have the telekinetic. I'm going to try to telekinetically shove her down to the ground.
So with telekinetic, you can either pull to you or push away.
All right. So in that case, yeah, I guess in that case I'll pull towards me.
Okay, sure. Yeah, go ahead and push your telekinetic on your sheet. I think telekinetic shove should automatically built in as an attack, and we will see if that does the trick. It does indeed. So you pull her down towards you. Maybe she comes down a little bit based on the angle that she's flying in the air. So she's hovering essentially right above Corin now.
And so Hugo looks at Elliot, shrugs, says, this place is crazy. He's going to run up and stab it.
We've got to break a spell.
You step up next to the creature and pierce out with the rapier. Let's see if it connects.
That is that a flanking?
It is not. They would have to be on the other side to draw a straight line through to get the flank. But that will connect. So Hugo, go ahead and post damage as you pierce into this winged beast. As you wound her badly, there's a slight slip in her song where the musical magicalness seems to fade for just a second. Grask and Corin, go ahead and throw new wisdom saves, and Corin, you have advantage on this. Corin, you still hear the most beautiful music, but Grask, what in the heck is this thing? It's a flying woman with wings.
Tastes good, Grask. They do, I heard.
And now that the music has broke for most people, so will our music as we move to a more up-tempo battle music. Anything else on your turn, Hugo?
Nope, that is it.
All right, Harmony. Harmony, you smack upwards towards the creature, and you do indeed smack solidly. Go ahead and post damage. I don't even think that's possible. Oh, yes, I guess it is, but minimum 1 still. So, yes, you hit her foot.
Okay, I'm going to use my mobile feat to leave without provoking an opportunity attack.
You can certainly do so, yes.
And I'll drop my mace, and I'd like to pull out my short bow.
Yes, you can certainly do so. So yeah, free action to drop the mace on the ground where it clatters, and then you interact with object to pull the short bow from your back. So I believe you now have short bow in one hand and then staff in the other, right?
Yeah, so can I put away my staff, or do I have to drop it?
You would have to drop it, unfortunately. Drops free, putting away is interact with object.
Okay, well, I'm gonna hold both until my next turn and then put it away.
Fair
Interact
enough.
with object.
Okay, top of the round, Corin. I'm going to skip your turn as you're still enamored by the beautiful music. Elliot.
All right, Elliot, seeing that Grask has broke the enchantment on him, he thinks that we might have a small shift in turn of battle. So he's going to move here, and he's going to take a shot with his light crossbow, this time taking a second to breathe and close one of his eyes, and fire.
And just for, once again, for ease of play, I've moved her slightly ajar so we can see her token. Yes, that will connect. Go ahead and post damage there, Elliot.
Okay. Not much armor on her.
The bolt penetrates into her pale flesh, wounding her, and she screeches in response.
Alright, so that was 10 to move here, so I'm going to move another 20 back to here, and I'm going to put my back a little bit towards Harmony and then load another crossbow bolt and end my turn.
Okay, on the creature's turn, as she is now wounded, she is going to disengage and begin flying up and over the wall of the Citadel. We move to Grask's turn, who's no longer compelled and can act freely.
Looking up at the creature, this thing was over 30 feet high, so she's over 30 feet high, right?
Correct.
Okay, Grass knows he can't hit her, so he just starts looking for the next thing to do, and he sees Corin, so he's gonna just try and shake the effect off him.
And tell me, so like literally just try to shake him?
Like I'm gonna manhandle this guy until he looks like he's acting normal.
So I'm going to ask perhaps a leading question here. Are you trying to do this safely, or are you trying to damage him slightly by this?
I'm going to shake him until he stops doing this.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to assume you shake him violently where he suffers a point of damage. Corin, go ahead and take 1 damage off, and then you can make a new wisdom save at advantage to try to shake this effect off.
Corin, stop. It's not food.
Darn it. Oh my god.
You are still affected by this, Corin. That's technically 6 rolls that you fail because of the advantage. All right, you go.
All right. So to load a crossbow is an action or a bonus action?
Neither. As part of shooting it, you can load it once.
Okay. So I'm gonna drop the rapier. I can still see like a tiny little corner of her. So does that mean I can see her?
You can shoot her, but she will benefit from cover, as you're having to basically arc your shot to try to like have it shoot up and come down kind of deal.
Okay. So I'm gonna move over a tiny bit over here and here actually. And I'll drop my rapier and shoot a crossbow shot at her.
Unfortunately, you aim a little too low, Hugo, and your bolt hits the side of the Scarlet Citadel and shatters.
I scream out, "Hey, we can't let her get away! Who knows how many of these things she'll bring back?" And that's the end of my turn.
Okay, Harmony.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get a view on her. Is it safe to say from here I'd be able to spot her?
You can see a tiny portion of her, yes.
That'd be better.
Well, the main issue is she's way high up and she's off on the side of it, so you're basically looking past the parapet of the Citadel's top, so you're only seeing a small portion of her from this low elevation.
I'm gonna put away my wooden staff and load my short bow and try to take a shot.
Okay, and you can do that, and as you guys are all new characters, I will throw a few hints around here and there. You can choose to take these hints or not take these hints, but just as a quick reminder, your Sacred Flame spell, because of how it works, enemies do not benefit from cover. Would you like to still shoot the short bow, or would you like to try Sacred Flame?
Let's try Sacred Flame.
Sacred Flame's cool. If you can see just the smallest sliver, then you can fire that puppy off.
The Sacred Flame connects as it cascades down, striking her in her head. Go ahead and post damage. All right, and she is radiantly burned by that as once again there's a brief break in the musical song. Corin, go ahead and make your 7th and 8th rolls.
1 sec.
Come
Oh,
on.
my
Come
cheek.
on. You have to.
It's over, Corey.
Well, no, I don't. I don't have to do anything.
Oh, man.
No.
This is like the opposite of Finn, right? You're half off. You can't do anything.
Exactly.
Okay, anything else in your turn, Harmony?
Sorry.
Top of the next round, of round 5, we move to Corin, who's still in adoration. Once again, your decision of what makes the most sense for you to try to get the closest to the thing you love.
He's climbing this sucker.
All right, you put hands on the side of the Citadel and try to make some type of upwards progress. Go ahead and give me an athletics check. Really challenging to do so. You don't think you're going to get much footing at all here, but hey, lovers do crazy things sometimes, right?
This is going to be a nat 20. Okay, no, good.
Yes, you make really no progress here as you continually try to get up there, but you're not even really finding a foothold. So you're still on the ground.
Just scrambling.
Okay, Elliot's turn.
All right, Elliot is going to move here and then kind of dash in between Hugo's legs, wrap around, and lean up and close an eye and try to take a shot. That's all he's really got on
All right.
Isabel.
You take a shot with a very much obstructed cover here and manage to find that perfect angle and connect. Go ahead and post damage. The creature is wounded badly as a large burst of blood brushes forth from her shoulder where this crossbow has exploded into her. She is wounded badly, and once again, Corin, give us your 9th and 10th saving throws. Corin, you no longer hear this beautiful music. It suddenly sounds absolutely atrocious to you. Anything else in your turn, Elliot? Did we lose Elliot? Elliot?
I'm so sorry. I thought I hit in my turn. My bad.
No worries. All right, from top of the building, you see the wings continue flying further away. Based on the distance she can fly and the fact that none of you can and don't have good line of sight here, I'm going to call this end of battle as she has gotten far enough away where it's going to be difficult for you guys to re-engage. So you can feel free to move as you wish now.
Well, I mean, should we get inside quickly before more of these things come down, or what do you all want to do?
It's interesting. I mean, those were two different types of creatures in a matter of seconds. Well, I gotta say, it's quite true. This place does seem more dangerous than it appears.
Yeah.
Good.
I was nearly dead.
You were. It sounds to me like we descend into a subterranean type cavern, so I mean, if we want to avoid things attacking us from above, it sounds smart to go down. But are y'all okay? I mean, some of y'all look like y'all have taken a shot or two.
Are you okay, Corin? I shook you pretty hard.
I'm fine, thank you, Grask. I'm not... It's very strange, but I think I'm okay now.
Hugo will, like, saunter over to Harmony and be like, I know it was you that brought me back and healed me, and my thank yous to you.
No problem, man. I just wish I could cast more spells in a day so I could fix you up now.
I hate to break this up, guys, but are we going or are we leaving? Because I ain't trying to have one of those things swoop back down on me again.
Can you still fight?
I always ladies can still fight.
Yeah, I mean, I still can. What about you, Omni?
Let's keep on, man.
As Grass says that, I'm gonna clip Isabel into a little spot behind me, and then I'm gonna draw my sword and my scimitar. And as he pulls out his scimitar, you see he kind of like does one of those little wraps around and then catches it with a backhand and then flips it with a forehand and looks over at Grask. Maybe one day me and you could have a little tussle.
Why?
I'm gonna pick.
I don't know. I mean, for me to get stronger, I've got to fight people who are stronger, right?
Grass smiles at that.
I'm gonna pick up my mace that I dropped.
All right,
Yeah, me
yes, I will
too.
assume anybody that has dropped anything has picked it back up. In this scenario, there was no danger of losing anything that had dropped, but I will, caution you guys that that won't necessarily always be the case. If you're stepping, for example, in water or in quicksand or something where dropping something could become problematic, just keep that in mind. The javelin, yes, you can recover the javelin. The one crossbow bolt that was fired that shattered against the wall, unfortunately, that's not recoverable. But yes, the main weapons that you guys fired off or threw, you can recover those.
Yeah, I mean, I had one crossbow bolt hit the wall, and then the rest were like inside of the creature who flew away. So not much I can recover there, but
Correct, yep.
no worries.
Adam, did any of us yet ask about in here if we saw anything?
None of you asked that, so unfortunately, due to the limitations of 3D versus 2D, this is actually at a higher level of elevation, so even though you can see through those windows right now, you really
Gotcha.
would not be able to.
Okay. It's
Are
a
those
lie.
like murder hole arrow slit kind of things, Adam?
Similar to that, yes.
Can I peer through? Can I see anything?
So unfortunately, that's actually at a higher level of elevation than
okay,
what
I
you're
got you.
certainly standing at, so not from here.
We might be out of luck.
Is that Gresk?
That creature might have eaten all the old adventurers.
It's out here, so maybe inside is still fine.
There's a staircase over here, everyone.
Must be it.
I'm gonna put my hand up and I'm gonna tell everybody I'm gonna do like a military signal for crouch. And I'm gonna
Grass,
put my,
I mean,
Grass doesn't know what it means.
I'm gonna put my finger to my mouth and then I'm gonna start sneaking forward. I assume that everybody had the same training as me, so they understand.
I think Conan goes along with it and doesn't think it's funny or anything, but Matt thinks it's funny and wants to make fun of Elliot.
But I mean, you guys can obviously tell as Elliot moves forward that he's trying to be sneaky and he's like taking care to not kick any rubble bits. Whoever kicked the rubble last time, he's looking at you. Unless it was him, then he's being extra careful.
All right, as we get to here, I'm going to go ahead and lock the tokens momentarily. So, Elliot, as you look in this direction, this is where the large, feathered and hairy creature came from. You notice a significant amount of rubble in this corner here, similar to the rubble on the other side. And once again, the words of Matilda sort of ring in your head about this quake of the ground that may have caused some destruction at the Scarlet Citadel and what that exactly could entail. So you notice that there's this area covered in rubble, there's this set of stairs, and there's obviously a few other areas that you guys have not quite yet explored yet, but that is where we will leave it for tonight, guys, as we end our first session of the campaign. I hope everybody has enjoyed this first session. We will pick up again next week and continue the adventure from there.
Adam, did we get any experience points?
You certainly did. I will calculate those and add those to the sheet for you guys to review.
Okay. I was, desperate to get out of level 1 here.
Try to live and don't die at level 1. No, I know how it goes. No worries.
Yeah, seriously. Oh my god.
That was a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah, great characters.
Yeah.
I think the party
Yeah.
dynamic seems pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. I think we're gonna do great as long as we survive the next session.
No more 8 times failing a saving throw, okay, Matt? That's it.
Boy, what can I say? And I usually play characters that have wisdom save as a proficiency, so this is unfortunate.
You had a +1. There was a while there. I was like, man, I hope we can do something cool for Hugo so that his memory of this first session isn't just like getting downed immediately in a fight. But that has definitely dwarfed that memory. He's not going to think about that at all.
Knowing Livy, you'll quickly learn that if the worst thing possible can happen, it will happen to me. So get ready for that.
Yeah, don't give him any gems that can crack open and summon elementals.
Nope. Or I'm trying to think. Like he'll have a house fall on him, or there's others that I'm forgetting. But yeah,
Lost his robot dog more times than we can count.
Yep.
True.
Mm-hmm.
That's true as well.
You're kind of a statistical anomaly. I don't understand it.
The Will Wheaton of our party.
It's obviously karma. Now, this is the only game I roll poorly at with that sort of stuff. Like my other ones, I'm usually doing at least normal, but this one always. Adam, I want a new game. I want you to make it brand new. Copy of this game.
I'll get right on that, Matt.
Okay.
It was fun, everybody.
Yeah, a lot of good fun time, guys. Good first session. Like I say, we'll pick up next week and continue the adventure from there. Everybody have a great night.
Thanks,
See you
Adam.
guys. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. Great
Have a
game.
good night, everybody.
Bye.